Good evening, everyone. This is Exquisite Taste Knowledge Power Hour. Um, I wanted to talk to y'all. We're going to talk about credit today. So before I bring on our guest, I wanted to talk to you all about credits, because it's very essential in this day and time with the world that we live in. Because if we don't have it together when it comes to credit, then what in the world that we live in, then what are we doing? What are we doing? You do know that the definition for credit rating is an evaluation of the credit risk of a prospective debtor, protecting their ability to pay back the debit. It's like a forecast um, of the likelihood of the debit being defaulting. And then we have credit scores, which are a numerical expression based on a level of an analytical of this person's credit file. So, with that being said, this person, I know them personally because he is my credit guru. He has led me in a straight and narrow path to build my credit from a very low 500 credit score. He started his business by walking away from a job that was not fulfilling him. And, it's very refreshing to know that this young man was able to build his own empire in what he loved, which is talking about money, talking about growth, talking about things that people, deal with when it comes with that. So with that even being said, he's a great guy. So I'm going to introduce to you all Abdullah Bridgeforth. Hey, Abdullah.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How is everything
Awesome.
going?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Let's talk.
Okay.
I believe the conversation piece for today is
We're
about
talking
banking.
about credit with Abdullah.
Right. Oh,
Mhm.
hello. Credit with Abdullah. Let's get started.
Okay,
So
so
I
why don't
understand
you tell them your definition of credit?
ooh, my definition of credit.
Yeah, not what
Definition, we're
not
not.
what they say, but what you say.
It's a gateway. I look
Mhm.
at credit as a gateway. The credit system was put in place to keep us on essentially where we're going back and forth. And when you have that's the thing that we all got to pay attention to. When we have bad credit, we have high interest rates. Those high interest out of our pockets, which keep us essentially uh, going into that job. A auto loan, that's you got it for 18%, with an interest rate of $8 a month for that auto loan. Imagine if you make $1,500 biweekly, paying $700 for that auto loan, but not just that, you still got rent, you got utilities, you probably have maybe $80 to $100 left in your pocket. How can you invest or save you forward um, when you're essentially working just to live and credit? Versus, let me give you a positive side. Versus if you have good or 2 to 3%, if you go to a credit union, and that same auto loan, that same car note, $100 a month. That's a big difference. Now you essentially have more money in your pocket to invest and save. If you want to go and invest in something that's going to generate money and have have another company, essentially, that's a beautiful thing if you have the money to do that. But a lot of us, um, and I say us, um, anybody that wakes up in the morning and goes to work, um, just to make ends meet, we're making decisions that are essentially cause you look up and you're 40, 50 years old, still working that 9 to 5, hoping and but this is the cost of having bad credit.
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at the long term of it, if you look at how detrimental it is to have bad, and you're praying and hoping for a day when you can retire, and let's just and you go and try to get your retirement and it's not there. Um, and I used to walk into a Walmart, and as soon as you walk into a Walmart, pay attention to who's at the front door greeting, and that are at the greeting door of a Walmart because they have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Something, but some have to be there. And you got to think about that. Is that where you want to be in 10 years from now, however old you may be? So vice versa, when you have that good credit, then you can go on and invest and do the things you want to do on business and get into that world where you now have the freedom of time credit. Did
Okay.
that answer the question?
Yeah, that answered it. So let's get into the meat of the potatoes of this. As a credit guru and the people that you help, what do you find the most issues that you when people come to you and say, "Hey, I want to work on my credit. I need your help."
Well, a lot of times the reports are the same. It's the essential needs that we apartment rent, um, or even maxed out credit cards. You know, the credit card where when you over leverage, that means you're living above your means. And I understand, want to do different things, want to go on vacation, want to buy this outfit or whatever the case may be, or want to. So a lot of times, if we have that ability to have a credit card, we'll over leverage those credit cards to pay back, which then puts us in a hole. And a lot of times, a lot of situations that they just simply could not afford, but they needed a car to get to and from work. These are
Mm-hmm.
the um, and so when I have a new client come on board, I'm seeing I'm seeing bankruptcies, I'm seeing um, delinquent credit card processes to pay those down and get those off the report. But even once it's reported as a collection in the toilet, and that should give you a clue as to what this thing is entitled rates. Um, you tell me where you pay the thing down and it still stays on your credit report as if you did not pay it. So what does that tell you? They don't want you to essentially get up to essentially find a different way out. So that's why I call it doors. Individuals coming on board, a lot of people come on board wanting it done instantaneously now, but
Mm-hmm.
I always express to everyone that comes on board, you didn't destroy it. So it's a process that goes into place when doing this that you must have patience with. You want to have the ability to essentially, or not even the ability, or even just having good credit to get those lower interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
So the, that's the issue from I guess a individual with essentially the same looking report, which is it tells you a pattern, essential needs that we have as individuals, and the bank are taking advantage of these poor credit, higher interest rates, and the banks are essentially making money, suffering and working till you're old and not being able to go on that vacation or not that nice car.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So what do you usually do
That
when you have people come in that deals with bankruptcy and they're wanting to clean up, different things? You have the chapter 7, you have the chapter 13. Um, what is the capability once they file that you are able to go in and clean up because they might not have a choice, you know?
well, everyone on the bankruptcy process and essentially express the way I look at bankruptcies and the way I understand bankruptcies, and I've studied bankruptcies as any means. It's a quick and easy fix, which is really a band-aid that
Mm-hmm.
sets you back. That does that. You're thinking, oh, they're gonna take care of this debt for me for 7 years, um, until you're able to essentially get free and do something. So 7 years, there's a couple questions there, right? And those 7 years that you sat on the bench, did you, so that you don't make the same mistake again once those 7 years are up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you understand ground zero as if you're 18 years old all over again? And how long does it take to build? You gotta weigh all those factors. They'll tell you 7 years, but it's really not 7 years in order to um, be able to get the things you want. And as you know, if you get the new credit, you got to essentially make payments on that for 3 to 4 months before it's essentially benefiting you on your months. It's actually a negative impact on your credit
Mm-hmm.
report. So, it's one of the most important things on a credit report is seasoned accounts. So if you have no 8 to 10 more years for those new accounts that you do get seasoned, be a good steward and utilize those accounts properly for the benefits of having that high interest, that high credit score. So almost 20 years. And you're if you're 20 years old filing a bankruptcy, then being a good steward on top of that is 40 years old. Uh, and I don't know anybody that, in my opinion, bankruptcies are one of the worst things you can do. But then for them to be illegal in its own right, uh, because you did not give them consent to go into the hosted on your report, in which there's a secondary bureau that actually does that, and then gets it from that secondary bureau. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't to essentially go and pull those things from the one of the ways you challenge a bankruptcy is the first thing you do is um, get the consent from, and they'll tell you that they'll send you a letter back saying they got the consent from the courts, and essentially accuse the courts of sharing your information, and then the courts will send you a letter back to their bureau to pull the reports, and then you simply turn both of those into the consumer financial. That is one of the easiest ways to get a
Mm-hmm.
bankruptcy off your credit report. And if that happens, and I can't even tell you how many times that's happened for numerous case of getting it removed, that should tell you the case of fraud that's involved with these credit reports. to essentially keep you up underneath their boot. So,
well, I get it. I get exactly what you're saying. So how do you go about, okay, when my thing is, I think that is really wise sometimes when, they hear people and they're not getting the whole in depth and they're saying, oh, I'm going to give you a template, go and do this with the credit bureaus and they'll remove it and everything. Do you find that wise to just use, everybody's using the same template? Do you have something that's different? Or what method do you believe is best? Them working on their own or working it with someone like yourself? I
I
can't hear
think
you.
everybody. I strongly think that everybody, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Should be essentially doing it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The whole concept, and it's your credit. You need to essentially. This is more important than a bank account, in my opinion. Get someone to manage your bank account for you, unless you have that CPA or that accountant that's going to know you're not. Everyone should understand how credit works. Everyone should understand how to credit bureaus. Uh, and that's something that I believe uh, we're not taught that growing up. Even our peers don't even understand the process, because at the end of the day, what not just federal law, consumer law as well. People are not picking up consumer law or even the universal commercial code and actually
Mm-hmm.
reading these different things that are and excuse me. I'm I'm a strong believer in believing defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as templates are concerned, template, and I give you the template, then you give the template to your sister, your brother, your cousin alone. That same template is being used hundreds of thousands of times across however many you think it's going to work for the next person and the third person. They're they're not stupid. The Oscar system, which is a data system, is computerized. So the more this particular, and the more it flags it, and best believe they have processes in place to essentially make excuses as to why they cannot accept this particular template anymore, and the system that will happen. That's going to happen. It's not a case
Mm-hmm.
of if. It's our templates are cool. They're good. I have no problem with someone downloading a template that reword it to the best of your ability,
Mm-hmm.
so that it does not look like a. And that's just key. I believe everybody. It's really as simple as uh, affected you, and then going into the consumer law as to where the violation has, along with the particular accounts that are in question, and essentially whether it be faxing it, whether it be certified mail, whether it be uploading it online. In fact, I love this, man. It was this was a process that was shared to me that worked. It was amazing process. It cost me about $50 a piece, so about $150 courthouse. And there's many different ways to skin a cat, just so everybody knows. We went down to the magistrate courthouse, and I filed a civil lawsuit. Each one of those lawsuits cost me $50 a piece because they were separate in nature, because each one is a different company. I fill
Mm-hmm.
it out to you. You're the plaintiff and they're the defendant, you want to make sure that you have their and find the registered agent for Equifax, the registered agent for Experian, the registered agent for TransUnion, and to essentially send these documents listed on that civil claim as well. And it's a box in the middle. What is the essential? What is the claim? What doing the civil case about? And there's just there's one simple thing I put there. No box. I didn't put no consumer code. I didn't put no law. I didn't put anything. I just put. Then that was it. Left it alone. Filled out the rest of it at the bottom with my name and the defendant's name. And in the state of Georgia, you can sue for on a civil claim. The max I believe is $15,000 a piece, and I filed it. Now, mind you, this only cost filed it. They put it in the system. They give you 3 copies, and one copy is essentially and one copy is just an actual copy for you to keep as well. So it's the original. Filed it. I went down to UPS, or you can go to the post office, and I certified mid-bureaus. So that cost me about $12 a piece. So what were we at? $36, so $150. I certified mailed it to each individual separately. And about as those 2 months went by, I was going through my email, and I saw that bureau trying to get in contact with me to settle the case. This respected bureau and ended up speaking to their attorney, and they'll try to essentially, you don't know what you're talking about, and this is what happened to me. This is my personal story of character, and I said, well, I'm not here to argue with you whether or not I am claiming that you guys have defamed my character, and I am suing you for $15,000 a piece. Go to court. I said, well, you can remove all the items that I'm recording. I want $10,000. I said something like that, and he goes, "How about this?" And we'll send that to you in writing, and we'll close the case. I'm in it for the money. Now, the money would have been nice, but I wasn't in it for the money. I essentially got what I wanted out of my report, whether or not it was mine or not. And best believe they'll go down the list. You did this on this day, and you've made a payment towards this day. And I said, can you prove that without a reasonable doubt that ain't? So what does that tell you? According to 15 USC 1692G, which is a commercial code, consumer code, they cannot prove it as validation of debt. They cannot prove it. So if really accept it or not, it's mine or it's not. You be the judge of that. And items off my account, and that cost me $186. So it's very whether so that they can defend themselves when the time comes. Me personally, if I could sit here and tell you that I fixed my report, got credit, then fixed it again, what does that say for the rest of the people? The rest of the people can do the very same thing. It's to hold you back, but when you understand that the laws are in place to protect you, the consumer, then there's nothing that, and so that's why it's important, I believe, to learn it yourself, because at the end of the day, I understand we're all busy. I love the next customer that comes on, love it, but at the end of the day, if I can sit here and tell you that you should I'm being serious. You know, because uh, if you learn it, then you can help the next. Where we're running a rat race and hating our day to day lives or whatever the case may be. Um, and that's the whole concept of life, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I go to work. That's my thought process. So for you.
Okay. Everyone who's online, if you have any questions for Abdullah, go ahead and put them in the comments. Abdullah, can you give them your contact information right now while people are putting in any questions that they may have?
Absolutely. Is there a way I could upload it to the chat?
Just type it in the comment field.
Comment field. Private chat.
Yeah, you can put it in the private chat and I'll copy it.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, y'all need to understand something. A lot of Blacks, American people do have issues with credit, and the statistics does show that our we have the leading numbers of poor credit, and the only way is to fix it is to sit down and listen to someone who knows what they're talking about. You know, you can go in and learn and figure it out yourself. But you know, I really do believe in cutting where I need to cut to get to the source, who can sit down and willing to sit down and tell me exactly what to do, how to do, gain the understanding that they understand it. Because sometimes you can go into something and you don't understand. And Toyana said, thank you for your insight.
You're more than welcome.
Is this the @ sign after? Did I put that in? What's the @ sign? Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. It's supposed to be an @ sign at Freedom Way.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So Abdullah,
Yes, ma'am.
good information.
Talk
No
to me.
questions. Y'all have no questions. None. I know y'all got
That's
questions.
fine.
Yeah, it is. So even with that, but I do. So how do you help young people? You know, they might be fresh out of high school, or because I think all the young people, if their parents hadn't messed up their credit, I think they start at a base of 600. So how do you get? I know what you told me to do for my son, but I need you to tell them what they need to do for their young people, you know, because I know Black people live in this stigma that sometimes the children got to figure it out themselves. But like you said, credit scores are important. So if this child has a clean record,
Mm-hmm.
what do you suggest that the parents or what the child should do?
So I give you my example. And she's been on two of my credit cards since she was 2 years old. Her
Mm-hmm.
on two of my credit cards when she was two. Uh, uh, but one thing that I suggest, credit card that you pay on time and that you use properly, add your children onto it. And they're asking you for a car or whatever the case may be, you will have no, and they can potentially choose the car they want with no money down, which is illegal to do a down payment on an auto loan. Most people don't know that. Um,
So repeat that one more time. I don't think the people in the back heard you. You said that it's what? The down payment?
it's illegal for a down payment on an auto loan.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely illegal. That essentially voids the company people actually get the actual payments and the down payment and the title of their car because of. And so yeah, that's why it's important to understand credit and know what you're doing when you're going to get in a car, because it's essential. It's an essential need, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same option I gave to you. If you get a lump sum of money, and this is a perfect example now, um, look into when you get your tax returns or you get a big lump sum credit union that offers a secured savings loan. Okay, $1,000 return. You would go put that into a savings account at that credit loan with that credit union. Navy Federal is one of the best ones to do it with. Um, but essentially, what happens, and just the step by step, you will go in and ask for that secure savings loan, and you ask you how much you would like to do, and you would tell them, I would like to do 5,000. Whatever. The more money, the better. The longer the term. But let's just say we're doing 5,000 to essentially allow you to apply. Whether you have good or bad credit, you'll get approved as long as that 1 minute to go by. They'll send you some digital documents, and the moment you sign those digital documents, and then you'll just sit back about 5-10 minutes, and the same 5,000, but in the form of a loan with a interest rate of maybe 1 or 2%. They are holding your 5,000 from your savings as collateral. Okay, wait 24 hours for the actual account to essentially report to your bank, whatever the case may be. The next day you'll have a new savings account, savings secured loan. We're going to take $4,900 of that money that they loan, of that $5,000 loan. Okay, you've now just paid $4,000 you with the balance of $100, and let's just say the loan is for 5 years. Okay, with the processing, because it takes 24 to 48 hours for it to process once you've made that payment, $100 back within 1 to 2 business days back into your savings. So now you right, and you have a secured savings loan with a balance of 100. Your next payment isn't due until the final month of the 5 year of January. Your next payment wouldn't be due until January of 2028. But every single month, you're going to get a paid on time report to your credit bureau. To a month, you're going to get a paid on time, a paid on time, a paid on. The only thing you would have to do is on the very final month, make sure. But you can even get it as low as, you can even do it as the final month. You can pay that $10 and be done with the loan. A essential a a a loan that holds just as much weight as an auto loan. So it's on your credit report that's being paid every month without you having to look at 2 to 3 days to do it all. And so if you have 5,000 Wednesday, Thursday, you will still have your $5,000 back to you every month for the next 5 years. Building your credit report. Had essentially low 700s mortgage. They've they didn't have too many heavy in the 820s, the 830s because of this loan by itself. And anybody that does credit will tell you a credit score without a mortgage. That's one of the things they look for, and they'll mortgage history on your report. This particular loan holds that type of without having to go and get a. So that's something that's very simple to do. In my opinion, if you do get a lump sum of cash, that's the first thing you should do, or go shopping or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I've done.
You have a question down
That's
here.
what
We have a question also. Toyana was asking, do you know of any programs that assist with the reduction of credit card debt outside of bankruptcies?
Now, as far as I don't believe that they're going to reduce the debt. There's companies out there that are saying you owe them, and you could possibly owe them at a lower interest. Company is essentially doing it for, but that's essentially like a refinance. It's not something that's really, I think, realistic, because it's essentially they loaned you five. Let's say they loaned you five. Say, okay, well, we loaned you 5,000, you spent 5,000. That's not the case unless you essentially default as a collections account or whatever the case may be, and they're just going to take something, and it still hurts your report in the same aspect that this. The only other option outside of that is would be a bankruptcy, remove the debt as a be honest with you, the best thing for that type of situation, I think that the credit card is through, and essentially make a minimum payment, which I suggest you do. That way it gets which would negatively affect your credit report, but it will keep you at the same point of view. And I'll give you a perfect credit card, and they gave me a $2,000 limit when I was 18. Max that card out the same day we got it, and I paid that credit balance, which was $20. By the end of a year, I was just simply paying the interest that was being so as far as that's concerned, the best thing is to essentially get your head above water. I would afford to pay it, but it would be a little bit difficult to pay it. I would just highly recommend and building the score back up and starting fresh. I wouldn't even, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even try to pay it if that was the case. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Yonda. If you want to go into detail about the situation, you please feel free to call me. I have no problem. Absolutely.
Okay. And I think she will. She'll probably end up calling you. So let me ask you this. Let's say you get your credit score up to where you want it to be. She said, thank you. Where you want it to be. But yet and still, you still considered a high risk. How do you get that removed of them seeing you as a high risk? If I'm saying it right.
If you get the score up to where you want to be, the only ability where you have a high credit score, but they still consider you that are essentially on the report, they're closed. So there's a difference between delinquencies and collections. One thing to do, it's very easy to do that, to remove that high risk. That if you have closed accounts that weren't paid, remove those closed accounts. So contacting them and asking them to remove that. Only other reason they would have that status on there is because you have a fraud alert, or which
Oh,
you
yeah.
can essentially remove that.
Mhm. By calling or going online, right?
Well, call for that one. I would call. The online one is a free that you can have they have a different one that generates a high risk. So if you're a victim of identity theft, which 90% of you are, but you can easily go. One thing I to Equifax data breach, and there is a link. I believe it comes up first. There's a website generated by Equifax that allows to see if you are a victim of that Equifax data breach, and for have been a victim of that data breach.
Mhm.
If you're not a victim of that particular data breach, the actively affects you is essentially consent, um, according to consent according to the FDCPA, to which 90% of people have, and 99% of people have not. At this point, just about. So, yeah.
Okay. So again, if y'all need to reach Abdullah, his number is 678-772-4741. It's in the feed of the comments. Or you can reach him by his social media at freedomway_. Did I get that right? I couldn't hear you.
No, you got that right.
It's,
You got that right.
oh, okay. Yeah, because you keep going in and out. Yes. So, what do you think about how people use um, their process with the secure loan to help build their credit? Um, do you, when you were saying, because I don't know if people understand, because I know I had someone that kept asking me the same thing, and I was repeating what you were saying about, because some people, I don't
Mhm.
think they understand that the secure loan means that it's their money. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so they tend to worry about the fact that, okay, I have $5,000 in my secure savings, in my savings account, and I'm asking for a secure loan. Am I going to get that back?
5,000 is your 5,000. It's backing the loan. So it's just going to give you a loan of $5,000, but we're going to hold your lateral. Um, and that's what they're doing. The moment, whether it's $1 or the whole entire 5,000, it's back within 24 to 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So hours. It's the essential. It's the essential equivalent of a secured credit than the secured credit card. But that's
Mm-hmm.
what a secured credit card is. essentially give you a line of credit on a credit card. You go and spend it, and you pay essentially worthy of a unsecured line of credit. Power into your own hands and saying, I have $5,000. I want to secure a loan off 99% of it off and leave a years, because that payment won't be due until the final payment, in which you're now getting the benefit of. It's just a way to essentially, but it's a way to outsmart the system. Navy Federal, and the guy that did it for me, he 2 days later to get my money out of the account, and he pulled me aside. He said, "Man, I see what you did there." I was like, "Oh, you see it?" All of my family to come do this, because what you did, you got your money back within 2 days, paid the loan off 99 history every single month, January, February, March, April.
You're in good standing.
Report. I'm in good standing. 100 of the bank, they see that. Oh, this man is paid in full.
You just have to remember
your credit report
when your pay date is due. Because like when you were telling me, I did one for $2,000, so I paid all of it off except for $100, and so that $100 don't come due until I think it's May of 2024. I think that was May of 2024. So I don't have to worry about it until then, and I put it in my calendar on my phone. That's when I make that first payment. Of $25.
So. The was, I believe it's as little as $250.
Yeah, it's
but
a little
again,
bit 200.
I had a particular client, and she did it for, I believe it was 14, it was 15 years. So for the next 15 on her credit report, this young lady does not have to worry about going in the downward spiral for the next 15 years, because she's going to have that consecutive in many different ways. It doesn't just boost your credit score. One of the other ways to look at it is, if you got this particular account 10 years, let's just say she has one bad month with her, and it passes the 30-day mark, and now she has a hurt her as bad as it would had she not had that 15. That's is really what it is. This is a defense mechanism, and it protects you and it boosts your score. So if you really think about it, you can turn around and do it multiple first time, and then you can do it on Monday, get your money back by Wednesday and Thursday number on Thursday, and get your money back on Monday.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to choose new reports. See, a lot of people don't even have or essentially building these credit scores up with authorized users. If you have somebody that you can tag along with and do an authorized user, jump on it. It does not hold nearly as much weight as having your own personal credit reporting, account reporting to you. There's not many personal accounts.
Right.
I was like a 760 credit score, but he had 20 different authorized accounts. That man could not get a credit card to save his life.
Wow.
He had no personal accounts. He had no accounts that was between an authorized user versus an actual personal account. In itself. So I read 3 times. That way you have 3 personal accounts. They're all being paid on time. That way they're all coming due at the same time, and they're all being paid. Yeah, that's just my recommendation. And I would always, as long as it's still available, and as long as it's still available, and the next ready to do another one. That way, once this one comes to the ground, that's how you build a strong rapport to where a car dealership already having an approval from a bank to get one. You see a house and you want to get that house. Confidence that we should have, not hoping and praying that we get this low interest rate. These are the things you can do it, and I believe you could speak to the people and tell them that it's little to no amount. They're saying, pay this on this day, a year or two from now. Times that I even have it, So that's go do it. When you get that lump sum of money, remembering, hey, I'm gonna go do this before I, go buy something.
Right. Take care of you first and then buy. I have one more question. I know it's probably gonna be a little lengthy, but it's about like the credit alert that you have me on, the identity IQ. I know a couple of people who say that they go through their bank because the bank does it for free, but I have one on my bank, but it's not as detailed as the identity IQ. What is your take on that? Is it better to just go ahead and put a $40 in on something that has weight of value, or is it okay to just get it because it's free?
Because we can essentially pull that information and plug it into. We look at the report. It's so much easier for us the way Identity IQ looks at it. But the one that everybody should have is something called My FICO. My FICO is by far out there because it gives you, and if you pull up My FICO scores, and every score is different. It gives you the FICO 6, FICO. Understand that each FICO pertains to each different industry, where your credit loan industry versus the actual mortgage and different FICO numbers. The short answer is singular FICO, so it's not a true score. It's the same as FICO, and it's not a true score. They're actually, but the lengthy answer: all banks are credit reporting agencies, and all credit reporting agencies are laws. So Equifax is a bank, TransUnion is a bank, Experian is a bank agency. They're one and the same, and most people don't recognize that. How and why, or which is better? They all consumer reports, and if you actually look at, let's say, Wells Fargo credit reporting system in place, and they judge you by it. Is it the true score? No. It's the true score. Identity IQ will give you the true score because it's a one number versus having you believe like that you have a 680 credit score. Your true credit score could very, very well be 700, or could very well combining the other different FICOs within. Find one that actually reports all FICOs. So I like my FICO because the way they break it down, and it is detailed. That's my whole take on them. If you pay monthly for them, FICO, but if you're gonna do it monthly use, then I recommend Identity IQ. But as far as going through the banks, if you notice the ones that you go through, the Navy Federal gives it to you for free. Wells Fargo gives it to pulling all the FICOs together into one. Credit Karma gives it to a Bank of America and think that you have a 780 or 720. So to answer that question in short, so if you're not telling me the truth, then why would I care about it? Right?
Right.
Is what the real number is and what I need to work on to get to a you need to look at. When looking at a credit report, the most payment history, you can see that it holds 35% weight of the score. Then your payment history must be on point every single time. Is the essentially type of accounts that you have, personal secured accounts that are yours. Accounts. What's the age on those accounts? If you have, and they all are 10 years old, and 100, and then you take 10 and divide that up by 100. That's 10. But the moment you add a new account onto that, and that new account has zero history divided by 100. 100 divided by 11. You no longer have 10 years and some change. So report, and that's the benefit of essentially knowing how it all operates whole way as well. So they penalize you for even set up to essentially keep you in that rat race. And the better that you understand life, and you can make better decisions. To that's my take on credit.
Okay. And again, like I said, y'all can reach him at 678-772-4741, or his social media is at FreedomWay_. Do you have any deals that's coming up, or anything in the future that's coming up, or promotions?
We started. We don't have a promotion. Everybody's report is different. So what we started doing is doing the actual work to your particular account. So we do a free consultation. We do a review on the report. And perfect example, I've had a couple new clients come on. We had 3 or 4 bad negative accounts. and a couple of inquiries. $700 just the base price for us to completely fix your report for negative accounts and a couple of inquiries. That base price of $2,700 is doing the consultations and tailoring the price everybody's particular account. So with that being, the moment is not too bad, and it's a couple of things that need to be fixed. $1,800, but if it's bankruptcies and I've had, and I mean, she just wouldn't stop applying, even she wouldn't take no for an bankruptcy and repossessions. Then you're paying the $2,700 fix. Essentially, just reach out to us, and let me give you this. I'm gonna give you a link that we utilize, and with that link, you can pull all of your credit reports. Proud that you can pull all 3 of your credit reports for this month for $1, and get everybody where they need to be. I'm gonna send this link over to you. Yeah. Sonia, can you
I can post it.
maybe. Okay. All right, I just sent it to you.
Okay.
Knows where they stand, and it's gonna cost you.
You said $1?
$1.
Is that what you said it'll cost? $1?
$1. $1.
You can't beat that for $1, especially if it's going to help you. So I say go for it. What do you have to lose? You spend more than $1 in 5 minutes. So. Okay, I have that post as well. If y'all have any questions, like I said, put them in the comments. If y'all want to see him on here about credit again, just ask. He's very thorough in his knowledge. I'm hoping one day I can get him to do a class, and then y'all can all come in and be able to ask him questions that way. And then you learn something and you get hands-on help that'll help you be able to take on this endeavor of doing better for your life, for your credit health. So I know he won't mind that. I just had to put that out there so I can speak it into existence. And so
I don't mind it at all.
We will have him back next week, y'all, because why not? He used to be a banker. So we're going to talk about what's up with these banks. So and he's going to give us some key elements there when we get back on. Not giving out anything today, but next week, because this is the month where we have to get empowered about ourselves, our credit health, in the places that we're going to go personally. I believe that this lineup of people that's coming on this month will be able to get us where we're going. If credit is not what you're needing and you need to get your banking or understand your banking, then he's the guy. The next guy to be coming on is Orf Logan. The following week, he'll be talking about crypto, stocks and bonds and silver and gold. So there's a lot of entities that are coming up, and that's just to name a couple, because that'll be coming up after Abdullah come back on. And again, reach out to Abdullah. You got the information there. He even gave you the link to Identity IQ, so you can have it. Your auntie Aloha said, "Great job." I didn't even know she was on, but I want to leave y'all with this. Go ahead. What did you say, Abdullah?
I said, I see you.
Oh, okay. Let me leave y'all with this. God would not put you put a dream in your heart if he has not already given you everything you need to fulfill it. So if you have a dream in your heart and it's aligned to what we're doing today, understand you have everything on the Knowledge Power Hour. And we will be on next week, Wednesday, at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 6 o'clock Central Time. And I bid you all good night.